Hey, paisans, the time has come. On the air since 2009, the independently produced, non-FCC compliant champ of video game talk podcasting. Here comes Tiger Claw Radio. Here's your host, Critical Failure.
How about now? There we go. Can you hear it now? That even looks like a halfway decent level. Yes, you are listening to Tiger Claw Radio. It's your host, Critical Failure. Goodbye to September. This is being recorded October 2nd on Friday night. The way TCR was meant to be done. Mamma mia, what a month it's been. All right, we're celebrating October being here, my busy month being done, so now I can play some video games. We can listen to some tunes. Let's kick things off right. Last week, we played J. Arthur Keen's, and that was enough to get copyright claimed. So, if we're going to get copyright claimed, we might as well go no holds barred. This is the Jam on TCR. Yes, there we go. If they're going to copyright claim me, I might as well. Let's pull the gloves off. Let's play something worth getting copyright claimed for. That is an awesome, awesome track. That's the Jam with That's Entertainment. Woo! And, okay, so we're going to do this. I have somewhat of a van cast. It's, done from home. It's Captain's Log. But this one, this is the best way to send off my busy times and usher in that sweet video game sweet video game experience that comes so at such a high price in adulthood. When you're young, you wish you could buy all the games and you just spend forever playing the ones you have. And when you're an adult, you can buy all the games and you don't have time to play anything. It's the Faustian deal, locked in a bomb shelter with 1,000 books, but the reading glasses are broken. That's the way it is. Not now. Let's say goodbye. We're going to head over to the captain's log right now on TCR. Stick with us. This is being recorded at 9:22 a.m. on October 1st. This is the day after busy season ends. I was up. I can't talk really about work, but I was working until after midnight last night, just trying to finish out the busy season. And then it all drops like a cliff. So this is me breathing easy, really for the first time all summer. Just kind of looking at things and chilling out. And what an amazing morning it's been. I've been able to just relax and check stuff out, and it's been pretty cool. I woke up to some good surprises online as well. GOG.com, get this. It's really been a while since I've seen GOG actually release a good old game. But 3 releases, I don't know if this was this morning or this past week, or if it's been forever and I just haven't noticed because I've been busy with work. But Metal Gear, Metal Gear Solid, and Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. I'm very tired. All released on GOG. Man, I'm psyched about this. I'm pretty tempted to just drop $26 and pick up the trio. I'm especially psyched about the original Metal Gear Solid. That's one I had been hoping would drop for a long time, because that was on PC. That had a PC release like when it was new. IDOS ported it to PC like maybe a year after its release or something. But back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when it was still like a new game, you could get a CD-ROM version in a great big giant box. So it's one of those things where it never made sense why they couldn't get it together to re-release it with all these other, cool games. I mean, I guess it made sense, because rights are a tricky thing and all that. But it's a perfect release for GOG. Oh my gosh. It is actually a good old game. And it came out for PC in this weird time where even if you own some of these old discs, a lot of them aren't going to play unless you happen to have a Windows 95 or 98 machine or whatnot. So that era of PC gaming, there's a lot of just lost games. So it's so awesome to see this released on PC. So awesome. Metal Gear Solid was also a favorite of mine. I kind of lost touch with that series after that. I played through 2 and 3, but when 1 came out, man, oh man, that was huge. That was a game I played start to finish consecutively 3 or 4 times. I got so I could beat that entire game in 3.5 hours. It was a good time, but it's been a lot of years since I played it. So I'm looking at it now. That'd be awesome to play again. What I'm not sure about is the original Metal Gear. The original Metal Gear weighs in at $5.99, regular price. But there's some confusion about the Metal Gear release. Because Metal Gear was on the NES, but that was a bad port. Like most people, I didn't find that out until later in life. Because it was what was it? Kaiser, correct me on this. MSX2, right? That's where Metal Gear made its debut. But none of us knew that back in the late 80s, early 90s. It was just a weird, hard game. So it's not clear to me if this is the NES version or if it's the MSX2 version. I'm looking at the screenshots now, and this does not look like the NES version. The transceiver scenes, I can see a screenshot, a mugshot. Yeah, I don't know what the MSX2 version looks like, but this is not a straight port of the NES one, I guarantee it. Guarantee it. I can't wait to play this, man. I can't wait to play it. Then Metal Gear Solid 2, Substance. Yeah, there you go. That's how you say that word. This one I never got. This came after I lost touch with the series, because I beat Metal Gear Solid 2 like on its original release, and then I didn't touch the series again until 3 came out. So this one I never really played. This version of 2 anyway. The screenshots are all in 3:4 aspect ratio, which is kind of surprising. It says the release date is March 25th, 2003. I honestly don't remember. I guess that was still when 3:4 was the dominant aspect ratio. This looks good though. Most of the popular PC controllers are supported, with the exception of the PS4 one. However, trigger buttons are not possible to bind or Xbox 360 or Xbox One controllers. So most of the popular PC controllers are supported, but the two that everyone has, PS4 and Xbox, don't work. Good job. I'm nitpicking now. It still looks really good. It still looks really good. Metal Gear was good, man. The series got weird. This is like before... This is before people really started complaining about it being like just an interactive cutscene. I never heard that complaint about the first game. That, oh, there's too many cutscenes and stuff. No. When the first game came out, we couldn't get enough of the cutscenes. David Hayter was really making his big splash as the voice for Solid Snake. We all ate that up. Even when 2 came out, we had our complaints about Metal Gear Solid 2, but I don't really remember anybody complaining about there being too many cutscenes. Everybody's complaint with Metal Gear Solid 2 was they didn't like losing control of Snake 2 hours in and being switched over to Raiden. That doesn't seem to bother everybody now, but at the time that was the complaint among my circle. Yeah, I didn't really hear any complaints about the cutscenes until 4 came out. I felt it when I was playing 3. I remember thinking, all right, this is a little much. But I didn't hear other people say it really until 4 came out. I don't know. Yeah, I'm actually really digging this idea of revisiting the Metal Gear Solid franchise. That is, what a wonderful treat to start this chilled out season. To be able to go back and dig through the Metal Gear series. That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, I think the only dream games I can think of to get released on GOG.com, my beloved Pinball Builder, which will never come out because it's an obscurity and an honestly lame game at that. That was a Windows 95 CD-ROM game that I had. Love to see that make a release. I tracked down the CD. I actually have a physical copy of the CD-ROM. I don't know how to make it work. I even got a virtual machine set up that runs Windows 95, and I cannot make this work. Ripped a copy of that CD, tried to run the ISO, mounted it from a virtual drive within the virtual machine, and then my virtual machine was like, I don't know what to do with this. Oh my gosh. But that's not my dream PC game. My dream PC game is Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2. Yeah, those were PC games. They were PC games that in big boxes, just like Metal Gear was, that everyone forgets about. I'm very tired. You guys know the story. I had a bunch of big box games. I had a gorgeous big box game collection. When I turned 17, my mom threw them all out. One of the games I had was Resident Evil 2. I had a big, gorgeous box, and I loved the PC version because you could skip the loading scenes. You guys know how the original Resident Evil games, they disguised their loading scenes with those door zoom-in spots? Well, when you hit one of those, you could just press spacebar and skip right through it. So it was, it had a practical reason why I really dug it. So that came out, and I did get it, and it was among the games that didn't make the cut. and it became obscenely expensive, like a couple $100 if you find one on eBay now. So it's just kind of lost in time, unfortunately. Right. Yeah, it would be fun to play those old PC Resident Evil games again. I never did see the original Resident Evil in big box PC, but I know it does exist, and I know it's a high dollar item. I do know a lot of the raw samples that we have of the bad voice acting from the original Resident Evil game comes from the PC release, because the way the PC release worked for the original Resident Evil, all of the voice samples, every single one, was a raw WAV file, and then as you played the game was coded to call the right WAV file at the right time. So any Joe or Mike could open up the directory for that game, access the entire bank of voice acting, and just pull those WAV files already cut and trimmed, ready for use in whatever sort of meme compilation you needed. A lot of that came from the PC release. So yeah, I don't know. It must have been super limited or what, but the PC releases of Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2, those I think are my most realistic dream games for the PC. There was also, I didn't know this until this past year, but there was also apparently a big box PC release of Twisted Metal 2. I don't know if the first one had one or not. One of the original 2 Twisted Metal games was on PC. Again, must have been super limited. That one never came across my lexicon at all during that era. I never saw an ad for it. I never saw it in the store. I didn't know anybody who had it. But I do remember reading that was a thing. So would love to see Twisted Metal in some shape or form pop up on those old websites. That would be amazing. I don't know though. Chances are low. I'm not holding my breath on that one. Oh snap! They have this is another one on GOG. Konami Collector's Series. I think this one had a big box release as well. I seem to remember seeing this in a physical box. Castlevania and Contra. Now, when I first saw this thumbnail, I overlooked it because I know we have the Castlevania and we have the Contra collections, respectively, in pretty much all platforms. Like, I'm used to seeing it on Steam, but I saw those pop up again as well, flipping through the Xbox One online library. But this is something different. First of all, $5.99 for this one, whereas all those other collections, you're looking at $20 per. But the question is, what is in it? What do you get for the what is it, $6? Something tells me this. There's no way this can be on the market forever. Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, Contra, Super C, and I think that's it. The screenshots look like the NES games, right? Like, it doesn't look like the weird, terrible DOS games from the 80s. Oh, listen to this. The comments are like, stay away. Broken, inaccurate emulations, avoid. I own the original retail, this is for the number one comment. I own the original retail box version of this set that included DRM. Castlevania 3 has the display and sound glitches that older, less accurate emulators had, and the emulator wrapper itself had scaling and display issues. You can get a much better Castlevania and Contra set on consoles or Steam for a little bit more money. They include many more games for more platforms and even some regional release variants. Why Konami chose to release this set instead of those two is beyond me. They could have ported the Steam version here, which has the benefit of more accurate emulation to boot, and made lots of money. These games are playable, but when it comes to value for your money, this isn't good. Okay, if I could play devil's advocate, this did have a big box release, and it did exist. So if you just wanted the original Castlevania and the original Contra, at least you can get it for, I'm trying to do the math on 4 hours sleep, $14 cheaper. And it's legit. I know you're talking about emulation that was made years ago. What's the release date say? Release date says November 16th, 2002. So, yeah, emulation, even commercial emulation, legit emulation, collections like this, that technology has come a long way since then. A long way. Like, if you're going to get a Castlevania or Contra collection, your best bet, pound for pound, wait till there's a big Steam sale, get them on Steam at a discounted rate. They go down to $10 a piece. I don't know about the consoles. I imagine there's some sort of similar situation. That's your best bet. I am glad this exists. I agree it's probably better to go the original collection route, but it just pleases me because this is yet another old box I remember seeing on the shelves, and now here it is, etched into the GOG library, where it can remain. It's a little tiny weird piece of history that's been preserved. Even if there have been better games created since then, or better ports of the same games created since then. After that, I had to go back through the GOG library, looking at the new releases, and then just going back as far as I could to see, looking to see if anything else had been added that looked really good that I missed out on. I didn't see much. I saw a few legit old games that were already available on Steam that I own already, have now been released on GOG.com. Darklands, in particular, is one that's out on GOG now. Also, the F-14 games, F-14 Falcon. Those are like legit 1980s flight sims. Got those on Steam a while back. Early last year, I think. I saw those get released on GOG, along with the tank game Across the Rhine, another very, very old PC game. Came across that on Steam for really cheap, picked it up. A little bit later, I found the physical instruction manual from the 80s. Found it at a used bookstore. Knowing I had it on Steam, bought it, brought it home, used it to make a simple Steam guide so that people could play it, because it had weird controls. It's a weird game to play. Like you're driving a tank, but you drive it by reaching up and then using the function keys on the top of your keyboard. It's bizarre. So that's on GOG.com now if you want to experience all the thrill of Across the Rhine, I guess. But that's the GOG landscape. Even with the new releases on GOG that have got me excited. If I were to buy a game today, it'd probably be on the Xbox, because there's a lot of stuff for me to see on there as well. I'm just taking a quick glance at Steam to see if there's anything else that looks like it might be worth checking out. Spelunky 2 has been released. I loved the original Spelunky. I don't know anything about this new game, though. I'll have to check that out. Going to the top sellers shows the usual suspects. I don't know. Not really too much to talk about here. Baldur's Gate 3. I wish I could get excited for that. It's coming out soon. It is really cool that I have my schedule's opened up so I can enjoy video games again at a time that lines up with, some good stuff happening in video games. So this is a really good time for me. This is going to be a good week coming up. But with that, I think that about wraps it up for me. I had a bunch of stuff that I wanted to play that I set aside, but I honestly don't know what I'm going to settle into next. But I'm going to look at some of the games I have and find something to sit down and play versus concentrating on the next thing to acquire. And with that, We are 19 minutes in on this recording. I think I'm going to shoot you guys back to the studio, and I'll catch up with you when I can. See you there. Back again in the studio, feeling good, having a great time on Friday night. Just want to take a quick minute to thank the sponsors. This is, in fact, a Patreon-sponsored program. These individuals give of their resources to make sure we come back every single week, no matter what, no matter how busy things get at work during September. These are the life's blood of TCR. So to them, I offer early access to the show. As soon as I get it up and running, I give it to these gentlemen, and I also read their names off here on the air in sort of a hall of fame, hall of distinguished gentlemen, as I like to say. They are Hemrock, EmeraldRangers.com, Tecmo Balls, Darabka, Konstantin Kelman, and Eric Kentroller. And by the way, not one person canceled their sponsorship after the all the difficulties that we had this past September. So these 6 people, I can't thank you enough for hanging with us and listening to some tunes and talking some video games. Speaking of which, let's do one more. You like Tim and Eric? I enjoy a little Tim and Eric. You know, I got turned on to Tim and Eric from good old the Gaming Beast, Darabka, over at thenextround.net. But did you know that Tim Heidecker is a very, very talented musician? This is Heidecker and Wood. You're listening to TCR.
For a change of pace, packed up for Bermuda to change the face of the conversation. And we didn't speak on the catamaran. The ocean spray filled in the blanks. Checked into the hotel bar and we got ourselves a drink. And we talked about the next 10 years for the very first time. Not working out. I hate my job. It's not what I thought, and it's killing you.
We could live on a farm out by your parents' house. We can leave it behind and start again. And we moved on to the hotel pool and we got ourselves a beer. And we talked about the next 10 years for the very first time.
Then the sun went down, robes on our legs to keep us warm as the stars shined above.
Well, it ain't that bad,
This life we lead, the kids at home, they love their dad. So we moved on to our hotel room and we ordered up some wine.
and we talked about
With a smile on our face,
the next 10 years for the
very first time. Oh yeah.
Yes, friends, we are back again in the studio. Feeling good, exhausted, but having a good evening. Okay, boys and girls, we're right at about the halfway mark. Let's read some comments. It's the fail bag. First one comes to you from our good buddy Hemrock. Oh yes, one of the founding members of the Retro League. What happened to the window? Yeah, here it is. Greetings, CF. Hope you're celebrating October. Congrats on surviving another September. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you sticking with TCR during this difficult time. Heck yeah. I see that you brought back good old J. Arthur Keynes. He has such a distinctive sound. I wish it was more chippy this go around. Yeah, I agree. He was championship chiptune maker and then drifted off into sort of real, pop influence music. It's not bad, but definitely that's later career. Keynes. Excuse me. Major props to Victor Krauss and his tune entitled Chip Chop. This was the first song on Chip Volume 1, the Chip Love Volume 1 album that you played in the middle of your last show. It actually got stuck in my head at work. Moonlight Ribbon Castle is another amazing track from that album. You may have played it before on TCR, but a second time can't hurt. Sure, no problem. We'll roll that one as soon as we get through the email. No, let's see. Other recommendations from that same tape. November in Berlin. More hip-hoppy, more bass. High Five. That would be the love child of Starship Amazing and Anna Managuchi. Okay. Yeah. I know that whole album is dope. It's there aren't a lot of these like real long compilations that I can listen to start to finish, but that is one of them. Back to the email. You mentioned that you played Minitroid, a fan-made Metroid game. Have you ever played AM2R? You may find the story behind this game interesting. It was a fan game, 10 years in the making, released in 2016. Of course, Nintendo threw a conniption fit when it was released. Check to the link video for more info. Would that be the all right, quick break from the email. Is that the Battle Royale thing that everyone was going crazy for? Probably not, but I know that there was a Mario Battle Royale where 100 people could play Super Mario Brothers at the same time, and the last one alive won. And then Nintendo just bullied them out of existence. They changed all the graphics and everything, and it wasn't enough. Nintendo just kept coming after them, and they finally took it down. No, I'm not familiar with AM2R. I definitely will check it out, though. This is coming from the guy who was like, hey, I just saw this new game, Minecraft. It's kind of interesting. Later on, hey, I just saw this new game, DayZ. It's kind of interesting. Later on, hey, somewhere in the middle of those two things, hey, I just found this new band, Anna Managuchi. So it's a bit interesting. You might enjoy it. This is a guy who's built up a reputation of having introduced me to a lot of those keystone things for the first time. So if he recommends a game, then you better believe I'm going to middle click that link and pop it open and see what we have here. Just give me a second. I'm just going to take a quick look at this footage and see if I can kind of get a sense of what it looks like. Bear with me, it's loading. I don't know what it is, but YouTube's been loading for me very slowly today. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Oh well. That's on the watch later list. We'll check it out in a bit. Alright. Excuse me. Oh, gosh. Alright, where did we go here? Yeah, here we go. To answer your question in regards to what console I would use to build my own body armor, I choose the NES because it contains the hard metallic RF shield that would bump up my armor class a few levels. I would also fashion my sword out of an Xbox 360 because I want it to blink red in a more terrifying way. Yes! I forgot about the Xbox 360. What about the original Xbox? Wasn't that like a big meme back early on in the memescape when the old Xbox came out? How it was just like out of this world huge. I think that'd make good body armor. Or perhaps out of 1,000 Game Boys all chained together in scale armor made out of Game Boys. NES armor, though, is an interesting choice. I saw my dad destroy an NES with a cane multiple times. So I feel like I feel like we'd have a good battle on our hands. I don't know. Hey, Sean, you still doing those combat simulation videos? We need some video game systems made up as armor so we can simulate some battles. I'm going to need you to get on that right away. Oh, jeez. Excuse me. Even with September in the past, I still got a yawn. What am I going to do? To answer your question, yeah, okay, we read that already. I know you already made up your decision not to go to MagFest in 2021, but just so you know, MagFest was officially canceled in early September. I like to put together a chiptune mixtape for my trips to MagFest. I think I'm still going to do that this year as my weird way to honor the con. I'm really going to miss hanging out. Yeah, man. Me too. Me too. But, I mean, we came to a really important realization that when all this is clear, you know, and we can do so safely again, Tigerfest, man, we don't really need, $100 for convention entrance and then another, couple $100 on merch, you know? Don't need that. We need to sleep in and then like $20 at Waffle House a couple times. That's what we need. We throw a CRT in the back of the van. Drive on up there. And when I say drive up there, I mean anywhere. Hang out, play some games, bring a big crate of video game stuff I have that I don't need, and we can just swap, and that'll be our vendor room, is us just giving each other stuff, loading up all the extra games and just passing them around. That sounds way better. This is the last MagFest we went to was a ton of fun. But thinking back on it, the most important times to me were when we were in the room and we were playing games and we were playing cards, the stuff we did together. I'm still interested in MagFest, don't get me wrong. But don't be disappointed, bro. We're doing what we got to do to protect ourselves, and when the dust has settled, there will be parties again. Back to his Back to his email. Have you had the chance to test out the Civ 2 scenario? No, I have not yet. Thank you for bringing that up, because that was one of the things that just fell victim to my lack of time in September. But I definitely will, because I've tested it in the past, but you've updated it since then. So I haven't done the latest one. It's good, man. It's a good game. There's a link to the forums. I'm reading the comments. First one is like, link doesn't work. Scroll down for updated version. Awesome. Look at that. You're a chieftain. For some reason, I expected to see you on the Civilization forums. You know, the old Civ Fanatics. Oh, this isn't Civ Fanatics, is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Civilization Fanatics Center. I don't know, man. They've changed the way this website looks a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm down with it. It looks all updated to look like Civ 6. I'm an old man. I don't like new things. I don't like change. Where I lost my place again. Excited to hear your interview with Sendu as part of your Sega celebration. Here's a few questions for him, if you don't mind throwing my hat in the ring. What's your favorite? By the way, Sendu, this is for you. What's your favorite Sega console? I know you're a ROM hacking fan. Got any recommendations? What is your absolute favorite Sonic game? Sendu, what do you think, brother? What do you think? I will answer these questions as well, but I'm going to do that when I can get Sendu on the air. Now a few questions for you, CF, and Sendu if he's available. He's not on this one, but I'm going to message him and we'll make it happen. What are your gaming goals? Oh, sorry, this is for me. Yeah. What are your gaming goals for October now that work has mellowed out? How's the office looking after you sold some of your collection? Have you been able to clean it up? What's hooked up to the TV? Would you ever consider a YouTube room tour? Well, I better get some sleep. Keep rolling retro. I didn't realize there'd be any interest in a room tour, but yeah, I guess that's a thing. I would enjoy doing that. What's hooked up to the TV right now? Well, I actually have two TVs in here. One that's on my desk right next to my computer monitor, and that has the Xbox One on it. And then my other TV, the one that's the one that you and I played at, where we sat on the carpet and we played Sega Genesis. That one has, let's see. The kids play the Wii on that one, and I play the Dreamcast on rare occasion. So it has a Dreamcast, it's got a Wii, it's got an original Xbox, and it's got a PS2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is the cap because I have a 4-way switch box for the RF adapter. So that's one HDMI port listed there. Three plugs on the switch box, and then there's one open in case I need it for something. So yeah, and that's usually what gets played. I also have a Sega Genesis like sitting up here, but it's not plugged in right now. That's the old Sega Model 3 that I got, I think just last year, maybe a while, maybe 2 years ago by now. But around that time, I was getting back into physical collecting, and I got out the clipboard and I was like writing down things I wanted to get. I've got a Sega Genesis Model 3 with Sonic Classic Heroes in it, which, by the way, is an amazing game. As for gaming goals, couple of things. River City Melee Mock. I played that today. So River City Ransom is a game I loved as a child. It's one of my, even as an adult, one of my all-time favorite video games. And there's a few River City Ransom games available on Steam. Now, we're all familiar with River City Ransom Underground. That's a game that made a big splash. There's also River City Girls. That was pretty popular. I never picked that one up because the price tag is a little high, but people really seem to dig it. Well, there were two games in particular, River City Melee Battle Royale and River City Melee Mock, which they're almost identical. It's basically a four-way brawler game with River City Ransom physics. I got to play that for about 5 minutes today. I was like, oh yeah. So one of my gaming goals is to try and bring my my Steam club back to life. I had a little Steam club, Steam group chat called, let's see, I have it open now. Let me flip over to it. It is the River City Online Club. Basically, all of those games, with the exception of River City Underground, have dead multiplayer features. I think to the point where when River City Girls came out, I don't believe that even has a multiplayer feature, like an internet multiplayer feature. So these are all awesome games, but it's very difficult to get a multiplayer game going. So I made one of the group chats that they use in Steam, because they don't really use Steam groups anymore now that it's more like what you'd think of when you think about Discord for River City Ransom. It's got a few people in it, including myself, 7 members. But I could see it was more than that. We were up to like 9. But over the last month, since there hasn't been a lot going on, I could see every once in a while people would come on and leave a message and then drop out. And we've lost a couple of members. So I'm gonna try and bring, like, one of my video game goals is to bring River City Online Club back to life. I want to play River City Melee Mock. I want to fight some people in multiplayer, and I think that would be a really fun thing to do. Also beat a JRPG, but I don't see that happening right now. Right now, I'm still trying to unwind and just have fun and just do, what feels good in terms of the old gameroony. Yeah. As far as how the office looks now, it looks a little different than you last saw it, because remember, this is now where I work all day every day. I telework on a daily basis. At least as long as COVID has been an issue. So it's a little messier. I think that's one of the reasons why I needed to make some space for myself. I'm in pretty good shape. The spaghetti monster is now tame. The big spaghetti monster of cables and cords. I've never been good at that. Cable management. So I had this big spaghetti monster at the foot of my TV where all of the systems converged. And now that that's pulled back a little bit, I'd say it's a little bit more livable. Yeah, we'll do a room tour. I got to clean it up a little bit. Room tours are one of those things where it's like you gotta make sure it's ready to be shown off. Also, I got a few family things that I would want to take down or conceal, just to try and protect family identities. But yeah, that would be a good time. That's like the modern day equivalent of collection videos. Those used to be really big back around the time I started YouTube, 2007, 2008. I think it's a good idea. Well, better get some sleep. Keep rolling retro. I'm rooting for you. Hell rock. Thanks, man. It's good to hear from you, and I hope you're hanging in there as well. All right. So now we're gonna head over to YouTube. We'll see what comments we got last week. Can we do the oldest ones first? Maybe not. Yeah, here we go. Mecha Menace writes, "Cause heck Nintendo." He uses a bunch of characters to signify a profanity. I'm sure heck is the word he meant. 1 hour and 3 minutes in. The only console worth using as armor is the Sega CD. That laser lens was so powerful it can burn paper. I'd be a regular Tron man over here with my Mega CD ion cannon. What did I choose? Okay, so we got Alex Swingle, ironclad in Sega CDs. I'm rolling up there with my Super Nintendos. And then in comes Hemrock, laden completely in NESs. What do you think, gentlemen? First of all, who's going to have the hardest time moving? I think it depends entirely on which model Sega CD. But I have to assume the Model 2, right? Isn't that the one everybody had? That's so funny because I always thought of Sega CDs as being really delicate, but yeah. Let's do this, man. I see a great opportunity for fan art if we could make that happen. I'd pay somebody on Fiverr to make that a dream a reality. Alex, man, good to hear from you, brother. Death Adder writes, "Swig of ice cold Mountain Dew for CF for joining the green team." Game Pass is actually pretty awesome if you look at the rentals. If you look at it like a rental service, which is what it is. I bought Game Pass in a handful of times to try out games. It saved me from buying No Man's Sky, which I'm forever grateful for. And I even used it to marathon through the Halo series. You like your shooters, you can throw down $10 and play through Halo 1 and 2 remastered. Don't touch Halo 5, that one blows. If you never put Windows 10 on your PC, there's a decent amount of console exclusives for you to play. Also, the best part, you get to make a nightmare-fueled Disney Pixar avatar of yourself. Sounds like a good time. Yeah, I like the Xbox. Sender really did us a solid. Death Adder, man, good to hear from you, brother. Sendu says, "One more thing, I have Doom 2016 on my Xbox One and it plays amazingly. Highly recommend. Same with GTA 5. Also, one exclusive I'd recommend is Sunset Overdrive, but not in front of the kids." Ooh, spicy. Ooh, I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from. That's awesome. Sounds fun, though. Let's see what we got. Hang on a second. Are you able to move the dishwasher? Oh, sounds like duty calls. Are we done with our comments? No, we got like 2 or 3 more. Yes. Can do. I am going to go take care of business, and we'll return in just a second to read our last few comments. Hang tight, everybody. Oh, that's right. I was going to play that track from that thing that I totally forgot about. Next week. Stick with me. I'll be right back. All right. We are back. We're finishing up. Let's see.
I've just entered the room.
Yes. We were doing, yeah, here we go. Comments. Coslab 208, good old ballsack, writes, for your newly acquired Xbox One, I would recommend Phantasy Star Online 2. It's free and it's exclusive to consoles. And is exclusive to consoles on Xbox. Is it still exclusive to consoles? Because I saw that one on Steam pop up recently. But here's the thing. Phantasy Star Online 2 on the PC takes a ton of memory, and they're saying it has like a rootkit or something. Like the PC version's no good. So Xbox One, definitely the way to go there. Yeah, I might actually try it on the Xbox if I can get away with it, like borking my computer somehow. All right, where were we? Yeah, Phantasy Star Online 2. That's what we were talking about. Okay, another free one is Phantom Dust. It's a remake of the original Xbox game that's a mixture of a card game and Power Stone. That is a real mix there, man. It was the next game from a guy that made Panzer Dragoon. Okay, sounds great. No monthly fee to Sega. And what about the fee to Microsoft for using online services? Yeah, I don't know about the online services, Mecha Menace. 'Cause I'll tell you why. I have a card that my wife gave me for my birthday like 5 years ago. That was a year of online services, a year of Xbox Gold. I had already stopped playing Xbox 360 at that point. I still have that thing. So what I see happening is using that card, playing the Xbox One, getting tired of it inside of a 12-month span, and then letting it expire. There you go. Bada boom, bada bing. No yearly, monthly fee, whatever it might be. As for Sega, it's a freemium game, so they don't charge you a subscription fee to play it. But you have to pay money to get items and that sort of stuff. At least that's what I gather from poking around on Steam. Balzac and Mecha Menace, both of you guys, thanks very much for chiming in. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe. Hope you're eating lots of cheeseburgers and all that stuff. I kind of just want a cheeseburger right now. All right, Light Studios. Sendu has one more for us. He says, I can't help but feel that I'm partly responsible for the content of this episode. Ha ha. Yeah, you're right. Partly is an understatement. On a more serious note, I guess I could have updated the system before sending it, but that would have denied you the new console experience. Also, something I didn't think about until after sending it. How did the fam respond to the Xbox? With almost complete indifference. I sat down with Junior here, my oldest boy. We sat down with it once, and you liked, you enjoyed Geometry Wars 2, right? That was kind of okay.
Yeah. I also enjoyed the controller.
Yeah, the controller's a big hit. But I think mostly what it's been used for is me playing King of Fighters and me playing Geometry Wars, and I spent a lot of time looking around the store on it. But as for the family, not really their thing, my thing. So take that as you will. Is that everything? I think that might be everything. Hold on one second. Could it be? Did we make it all the way to 1 hour? No, we didn't. But we came pretty close. And I'll tell you what. I had most of the week this week just grinding it out, trying to finish September. So next week, we're going to find a way to make that big episode. That's going to be next week. Sendu, you and I need to do our sit down between now and then somehow. Let's make that happen.
By the way, have you ever gotten to Suikoden, the thing you were thinking about like a while ago?
No, because I have to play it, not all the way through, but I want to play like a good bit of it again to formulate an updated opinion on it. My opinion on that game had changed over time.
Okay. Okay.
That's cool. Yeah, you're good, man. You're good. So with that, boys and girls, I think we're going to call it a night. It's a few minutes early, 54 minutes in.
Okay, it's a night.
All right, boys and girls, you know what that sound means. It means it's time. The time has come So whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is you're dealing with, whatever difficulties you're facing, don't give up. Keep at it. I can guarantee you one thing, there's another difficulty right behind it. But that's going to be okay, because you're going to get through this one, and you're going to be stronger when you do. Whatever happens, know that I'm rooting for you, and I'm wishing you all the best. I'll see you guys next week.